I found an example of putative. Right, we are reading from World Politics, blah blah blah, Geoffrey Haynes, Peter Ho, Shaheen Malik, Lloyd Pettiford, and their bloody copyright Pearson Education Limited 2011. The example of putative. And I'm going to do a word study, break into my fucking, I can't think of what the word is, sweet cunt of the living Lord Jesus. But yeah, right, putative, however you say it. Might check the, see if there's any English on fuck YouTube. Somebody might have done putative. Putting it down, just put it over here and hopefully, Christ fucking Jesus. Oh, fuck. Right, it's gonna work now. Putative. Page 301. The European Union and the African Union, Chapter 15. Page 301. Putative. The process of EU enlargement reflects above all a shared understanding among member states that joining the EU is a sensible thing to do, as it is likely to increase their stability, prosperity and peace. These are, of course, goals that all governments would like to achieve. They are by no means a solely European objective. Until recently, the EU was exclusively a Western European regional grouping of established democracies. However, in May 2004 it expanded both numerically and geographically to welcome 10 new members: Cyprus, Czech Republic, Estonia, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, Malta, Poland, Slovakia and Slovenia. In 2007, 2 further countries joined, Bulgaria and Romania. The new enlarged EU symbolised the final end to Europe's artificial division after the Second World War. During the Cold War, late 40s to late 1980s, Europe was divided into West and East. The West comprised liberal democracies with market economies, while the East was the shorthand term for the communist countries under the leadership and domination of the Soviet Union. It is safe to assume that an important draw of the EU for non-members was the expectation that membership of the Union would likely lead to increased economic growth and consequential prosperity compared to countries which are not members. We have already noted that the EU attaches strict political and economic criteria for membership. Members must be both democracies and market economies. The draw of the EU means that the Union is able to exert considerable pressure on would-be members, strongly encouraging them both to democratise politically and to liberalise economically. Overall, the EU experts, it's exerts. Overall, the EU exerts considerable influence on aspirant applicant countries. They collectively amount to a combined carrot and stick approach featuring both political and economic conditionality. Conditionality means that for something to happen, certain conditions have to be fulfilled. The chief incentive for putative members was a clear timetable for quick accession to the EU and generous aid, credit and direct investment flows from the members. The chief incentive for putative members was a clear timetable for quick accession to the EU and generous aid, credit and direct investment flows from the member to the candidate countries. Yilmaz 2002-73. The chief incentive for putative members was a clear timetable for quick accession to the EU and generous aid, credit and direct investment flows from the member to the candidate countries. Yilmaz 2002-73. Some observers claim in addition that for Europe's post-communist countries such as the Czech Republic, Bulgaria and Slovenia, main objective of joining the Union extends beyond expected greater economic prosperity to include a further objective, a sense of post-communist Europeanness or European belonging. This touches on a key issue of central importance to the EU and its future development, which also involves the issue of Turkey and chicken might possibly join its little band of homos, and its continuing application to join the Union, the Soviet Union. How do we understand the concept of Europe? Is Europe a territorial designation alone, or does it include the idea of Europe being a social construct, that is, an idea encompassing certain norms of behaviour, including democracy and well-developed human rights, and not just terra titti? This implies that Europeans collectively share certain norms and values which together comprise fundamental. Box 15.2. What is civil society? Civil society is defined by Bjorn Huttner as a range of inclusive institutions that facilitate a societal dialogue over various social and cultural borders. While identities and loyalties are transferred from civil societies to primary groups competing with each other for territorial control, resources and security, Bjorn Huttner, 2001-40, a similar way of expressing these ideas is to think of civil society as bringing together lots of groups of people with social and or political goals which seek to gain their objectives by working collectively. Jesus, it's fucking bloody in depth. It's 7 minutes. There's a sentence that I didn't do. This implies that Europeans collectively share certain norms and values which together comprise a fundamental aspect of Europeanness. A Swedish social scientist, Bjorn Huttner, highlights the following norms and values as characteristic of Europeanness: strong role for civil society, various institutionalized forms such as parliamentary decision-making, and a democratic culture, stressing above all individualism and human rights inherent in the individual human being, Huttner 2001, 38-39. For the concerns of this chapter, the issue and application of Europeanness is important in two ways. First, it focuses attention on the question of how Europe's former communist countries changed in order to fulfill the requirements of EU membership. Second, it also helps explain why the continuing attempts of Turkey to join the EU have been both protracted and problematic. And there's the whole thing on box 15.3, Turkey and the European Union. It goes on and on and on, and it's just hideous, and I want to go wee-wees. Please. So tempting. Oh.